The 1.5 times scope is undoubtedly the best sight in Rainbow Six Siege right now, making any operator who has it extremely desirable to the community. Because of this, a lot of people have been raising a few questions over the fact that it should be removed from the game entirely, nerfed, or even given to everyone in the entire game. However, before we do jump into that, let's first identify what makes the 1.5 times scope such a desirable sight. Well, in Rainbow Six Siege currently there is only a handful of sight options. You can either have the iron sights, 1 times sights, 1.5, 2 times, 2.5, and the 3 times optics. But what makes the 1.5 times scope the most desirable out of all of them? Well, to put it bluntly, it literally just has the best zoom optic out of all of them. See, with every other sight that is currently available in Rainbow Six Siege, there is a downside to them. Starting with the 1 times optics is where you have the most variety of sights, however, they aren't zoomed in, so in mid to long range gunfights, you're kind of at a disadvantage, making it harder for you to see those enemies. Skipping over the 1.5 times scope straight to the 2 times, that scope actually has the opposite problem, where it sometimes can feel a bit too zoomed in those close quarter engagements. Which leaves us with the 1.5 times scope, which is definitely the sweet spot when it comes to zoomed optics in Rainbow Six Siege. It's zoomed in enough to the point where you can take those mid to long range gunfights effectively, but it's not too zoomed in to the point where you put yourself at a disadvantage in those close quarter engagements. On top of this, it also has one of the cleanest peripheral visions. As you can see, out of all the optics in Rainbow Six Siege, this one basically covers the least amount of your screen as well. So not only does it have the best zoom optic, but it also has one of the cleanest peripherals as well. All of these things add up to make it one of the most powerful sights in the game, making you viable at all ranges and allowing you to engage in all kinds of gunfights. A great example of how powerful this scope is when it got added to Oryx and his T5 just a few seasons ago. Oryx went from an operator that wasn't really picked too much to an operator that was picked through the roof. Especially on console, I can vouch that an Oryx was almost in every single game towards the tail end of year 7. So with his pick rate through the roof, Ubisoft decided to take it away again, and once taken away, he once again fell straight back out of the meta, making it so that 1.5 times scope alone really did push him and his pick rate through the roof. This is a great example and a great indicator of how powerful the sight choices on an operator can be. Because of this, then the community have been asking Ubisoft to either remove it from the game entirely, add it to everyone in the game so it doesn't make certain operators overpowered, or rework it entirely so that it doesn't seem as powerful as it currently is. Out of the 3 choices, which one would you go for? Because removing the 1.5 will force people to either go down to a 1 times scope or up to the 2 times scope, making the 2 times scope a basic replacement to the 1.5. Therefore, the 2 times will basically just be replacing it entirely, and once again, anyone who has that sight over the 1 times sight will be at a distinct advantage over those operators. On the other hand, if you give it to everyone in the entire game, it's going to cause an entirely different issue, because everyone is going to be picking the 1.5 over every other sight in the game, because there's not really any choice to run anything besides the 1.5. I think every single operator in the game running the same sight will be extremely boring. I currently like how versatile each operator feels. Each operator being forced to use a different sight gives them their positives and their negatives. And obviously Ubisoft can also use this 1.5 as a balancing factor, which leaves us with one more alternative, which I believe is the best option for Ubisoft to take, and that is to rework the sight entirely, either making the reticle a little bit more bulky, making it harder to see down the sight, or by updating the peripherals of the sight, making it take up more of your screen. The way that it currently is, the 1.5 has the best zoom and the best peripherals, and there's no downside to taking it over any other sight in the game. The best way to counter this, in my opinion, is by bulking up the edges of that sight, making it take up more of your peripheral vision, kind of like the 2.5 times scope does. To be honest, overall, I think the community may be overreacting. I don't think this problem is as big as people say. Yes, the 1.5 times scope is a lot more desirable than other scopes in the game, but it's not available on everyone, especially on defense. If it was available on everyone, it would allow spawn peeking to be a lot more common. It would be a lot easier for defenders to hold longer angles on the attackers, and overall, I think the game is currently shifted towards a defender heavy meta anyway. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe, kick the video on screen, and without further ado, I'll see you next time.